the Eastern Panhandle's leader in politics. News, talk, information from outside your front door to the Capitol Dome in Charleston. Panhandle Live with Hans Fogle.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks so much for joining us today. We've got a lot to do. We're going to talk a little bit later on with Libertarian candidate for governor, Dr. David Moran. He's going to join us on the Frontier Communications Hotline. You're listening to Panhandle Live, brought to you this morning by Valley Health, Gantz Machine Shop, Roach Energy, and West Virginia University Hospitals East. I want to go now to the Frontier Communications Hotline, where we have David Moran. He is a candidate running for governor here in West Virginia, and he's with the West Virginia Libertarian Party. Good morning, Dr. Moran. Thanks so much for being with us on Panhandle Live.
Well, thank you, Hans. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I understand you're in the Eastern Panhandle getting ready to look around a bit at Shepherd University.
Yes, we've scheduled some time at Shepherd University. They were very, very kind to invite me and a couple of my campaign workers to come up and spend some time with the students.
Well, invitations are something that have not been forthcoming in this political campaign so far. We're hearing a lot from the Republican candidate Bill Maloney and the Democratic incumbent Governor Tomblin. Haven't heard as much from your campaign. Is that a money issue, or are you being left out? What's the sense you're getting so far?
Well, it's a combination of two things. First of all, we are being excluded from the debate, which is going to occur on next Tuesday, the 9th. And that'll be between Tomblin and Maloney. We have sent repeated letters asking to be included in that debate. And so far, we've received no response at all from the sponsors of the debate. So we're still working that. That's an example of exclusion. And then, of course, there's just the problem of running a low-budget campaign, which is always very difficult. We're using the limited funds we have to try to reach out as effectively as possible to people in the state through radio and also newspaper. But more than anything, it's footwork. Campaign workers are with me doing things just about every day.
Well, Dr. Moran, tell us a little bit about yourself for anyone who may not know you. What's your story, and why did you decide to run for governor?
Be glad to. First of all, I am a farmer in Preston County. My wife and I have a sheep farm. We raise Wensleydale sheep, and we also raise Surrey alpaca. The alpaca herd is about 100 head, and the sheep probably about 40 head, something like that. So that's my current activity at the moment. I am a retired engineer and also have retired as a college professor from a couple of teaching engagements in various places. Lori and I decided that we wanted to go into agricultural work and spend some time with livestock and get to know that part of our lives. So that's the main thing that I'm doing at the moment. Now, running for governor is a very interesting issue. First of all, I'm running because I think we need alternative expressions in the governor's race. The contenders from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are very, very similar in almost all respects. And the Libertarian Party offers a dramatic difference to some of their policies. And I think that the people of West Virginia should be privy to those policies and understand what they are and recognize that they could be in their very best interests.
Dr. David, I was going to ask, with the Libertarian, my understanding of it is that it's less government. Isn't that a message that we're getting right now from the Republicans? How is a Libertarian aspect different than what we're hearing on the national level in terms of less government from the Republican side?
Well, the soundbite, less government, always sounds good. What is necessary is to back that up with very specific proposals on how to reduce government. In our particular case, one of the major planks in the platform that I'm advocating is to abolish the personal income tax in West Virginia. Now, running for governor, I can't say or do much about the national issues, but at the state level, we'd like to see the state income tax, the personal income tax, abolished. And we have found ways in the budget that we can accomplish that without any detrimental effect to the state. In fact, hopefully to the advantage of the state. So the soundbite "less government" certainly is common between the Republican Party and what I'm advocating, but we would like to see very specific issues brought forward so that the people would know what it means to reduce government and how much can be gained from that.
What does it mean to reduce it? Certainly not paying income tax would reduce the revenue that a state can collect, therefore reducing the spending they're able to do, especially when you have a balanced budget law the way we do here in the Mountain State. Where would the cuts be made?
Well, the first thing is that we have an incredible amount of bureaucracy, which is dedicated to programs that have been introduced to us from the federal government. And programs like the health care programs that are not really run by the state, but are federal programs that we have had to accept and to adopt. And in the long run, we're going to have to pay for those programs out of state funding. And, of course, that leads to a burgeoning bureaucracy within the state that is very, very expensive for us to support. It costs us about $10 billion a year to run West Virginia. And the total amount of money that we bring in from our own revenue, from tax revenue and that sort of thing, is a little over $4.5 billion. So the difference, that $5 billion difference, comes largely from the federal government and from other sources that we don't have much control over.
We're talking this morning with Libertarian Party candidate for governor here in West Virginia, David Moran. He's visiting Shepherd University this morning. Is it harder to run a campaign as a third-party candidate? Again, the governor gets press, obviously, as he's doing his job. Mr. Maloney has a lot of money coming in from outside sources and has done well with fundraising. What do you expect your odds to be coming in as a much less funded third-party candidate?
Well, the odds are small. Let's be very honest about that. The probability of being able to win the governor's seat from a third-party campaign is very small and difficult. One should recognize, however, that there are people that are willing to step forward and to raise issues openly, and it's going to be third-party candidates who do that. I have really nothing to gain from this campaign. My personal life and so on is very full and very rich without campaigning for office. And so raising the issues that are important to the people of West Virginia is one of the main activities that we're involved in. And I believe that they will see and understand that. We have to recognize that this state is the poorest or the second poorest state in the Union. And that is a terrible place for us to be the poorest state. And we've been that way for decades, despite Republican and Democratic leadership in the governor's house. We continue to hold that last or next to last position. And the people of West Virginia must recognize that in order to get up from there, to raise ourselves, we need a resurgence of morale as well as new leadership that is willing to point out these things and to address them openly.
Dr. Moran, you have a long history in education and, as you say, retired engineer, now farming. Do you think that, and we hear this anecdotally, but do you think that the time is coming when a third party will be able to actually become a big player on the political scene nationally and, as a consequence, at the state level?
Well, in West Virginia, yes. I think that probably at the state level this can happen a lot easier. If you look at the basic principles of libertarianism, of the Libertarian Party, and you match them up with the citizens of West Virginia, you find a very close similarity. There's a synergy there between the people and the Libertarian Party principles.
What are those principles? Can you share those with us?
I certainly can. I'd like to say first that I'm very fond of saying to people, everybody in West Virginia is a libertarian. They just haven't had a chance to find out. So one of the things we're doing is to offer that opportunity for them to understand and to know that. The principles of libertarianism, first of all, are freedom to do what you want in your own life as long as it doesn't cause any harm or any detrimental activity to any other individual or to their property, which means that you have the right to decide whether or not you want health care insurance rather than have it imposed upon you by law. You have the right to your own personal property, and you have the right to decide what to do with your property as long as it doesn't have any detrimental effect on your neighbors or your community or anyone else. That's a very difficult principle for some people to accept, that we as humans should have complete freedom and liberty to do what we like, with the proviso that we don't cause harm. There's the basic principle.
Well, how does it come into play when, and this is where I think when you start to think about it, and then we get into all these philosophical debates, but for example, healthcare. If I choose not to have insurance, then I don't take care of myself well, I get sick, go to the emergency room, I'm hurting everybody else by raising their insurance premiums. And I'm not making an argument here for socialized medicine or Obamacare or something, but I mean, where do you draw the line in terms of my actions harming somebody else?
Let me take your example and work with that for just a moment. We have an incredibly good community health care program in West Virginia. Our community clinics are excellent. And one of the reasons that they are so good is because the people that operate those clinics actually know their patients. They know them from the community and from the neighborhood. The physician who treats you in that clinic actually knows you, and when you are ill, that person has the opportunity to work with you not just to correct that particular problem, but to help you change your lifestyle and to begin to understand that if you take care of yourself and your own health, you're going to be a happier person and the entire society will be better off. The encouragement of simple things like flu shots, we have in our own health clinic in our community. The physician there makes tours of the various meetings of clubs and other organizations to encourage them to accept shots for influenza. Now, that's the kind of encouragement that should come from all of us and from our government, not telling us what to do, but telling us what is the best thing to do, and then giving us the opportunity to make the decision whether we want to accept it or not.
We're just about out of time. I'd love to have you back on as the campaign continues. In the meantime, where can folks go to get more information about yourself and the Libertarian platform?
Thank you for that. That's wonderful, because it's very difficult to cover everything that I'd like to say in an interview. We have a website, which is davidmoran.org. Now, that's just one word, DAVIDMORAN.org. And that is a full and complete website. If you'd like to know more about the Libertarian Party in West Virginia, you should go to LPWV. That's for Libertarian Party West Virginia, LPWV.org. And that will give you a lot of information, including a little quiz that I recommend everybody take to see where your political consciousness lies. And I think a lot of people might be surprised. And then if you want to look at the National Libertarian Party, go to LP.org, LP.org, and that's the national website.
Dr. David Moran, candidate for governor here in West Virginia with the Libertarian Party. Do appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and enjoy Shepherd.
Thank you, Hans, and I look forward to another opportunity to talk to you in the future.
Absolutely. We look forward to having you back on the program. That is Dr. David Moran joining us via the Frontier Communications hotline here on Panhandle Live. Always good to get the other perspectives, and I think a discussion that deserves some fleshing out. I'd like to have him back on, regardless of what happens here. And again, obviously, third party, bit of an uphill battle, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened, I suppose.